This is my second vlog for SAC 7108, focusing on skills and capacities in speed and agility. Assessing skill and capacity issues in acceleration, athlete 1 is myself, displaying a skill issue, and athlete 2 is Renee, who has a capacity issue. In the lateral shuffle change of direction exercise, athlete 1 is again myself, demonstrating a skill issue, and athlete 2 is Tay, who has a capacity issue. Looking at acceleration, here we can see athlete 1 displaying a suboptimal acceleration pattern. The athlete does not have any obvious capacity issues which would limit her. It appears that she is unskilled in the movement. Slowing the clip down, we can see that she propels herself more vertically than necessary in the initial step with a long stride and loses out on horizontal force production. Her torso angle is approximately 48 degrees, starting her off in a position that is too vertical without much forward lean. Looking at the phases of her acceleration pattern, particularly the late stance phase, we can see that she does not have adequate hip flexion or knee drive in the front leg and appears to be demonstrating more of a pulling as opposed to a pushing pattern. In order to improve her skill level, the athlete first works on vertical drills such as marches and switches, as well as arm switches to ensure she fully understands the movement pattern, before translating this into a more horizontal plane with wall drills. Here we see her first in an isometric hold on each leg, single leg drives, then switches, and then doubles. She also worked on heavy sled pushes to reinforce horizontal drive with the legs. Here we can see an improvement in the acceleration pattern, with a more forward-leaning torso, an angle of 40 degrees compared to nearly 50 degrees in the initial attempt. We can also see better arm patterning and more of a pushing pattern with the legs. Comparing it to the first video, we can see a reduction in ground contact time. We will now look at athlete 2, Renee, and her capacity issues with acceleration. Renee was not given any cues prior to this video. She has a background in athletics, training at a national level when she was younger, but has not undertaken much structured training for the past 20 years. She understands how to accelerate, although her movement pattern looks suboptimal here. It can be seen from this clip that she struggles to produce a sufficient amount of force to push herself forward at speed. The athlete has capacity issues relating to her overall strength levels and her rate of force development. We can see from her counter movement jump that she does not achieve much height and that she lands on her toes or the balls of her feet rather than flat-footed. Viewing the counter movement jump from the front, we can also see that she displays a level of knee valgus, especially on the right side. In order to work on strength, stability, and neuromuscular control, I have the athlete include single leg hip dominant and knee dominant exercises into her training, including toe taps in different directions, split squats, reverse lunges with knee drive, and single leg glute bridges. We also focus on a gradual progression of plyometric exercises, first working on improving her landing mechanics by emphasizing bilateral depth jumps and counter movement jumps and bounds, progressing to single leg and rebounding versions of these exercises. In addition, I advise the athlete to incorporate short sprint intervals into her usual 5-kilometre run at a moderate pace. Moving on to the lateral shuffle exercise, first we will look at athlete 1, who is myself. From the clip, it is not evident that she has any capacity issues which are limiting her in the exercise, rather she is unskilled at the movement. During change of direction tasks, athletes need to use their eccentric strength to decelerate and their isometric strength to maintain a stable and efficient intersegmental alignment. They also must use their concentric strength to re-accelerate in the new direction on one leg while effectively controlling the center of gravity over the base of support. Here the athlete is slow to re-accelerate, appears to leak energy during the transition, and does not seem to understand where to place her feet to control her center of gravity. The first step in improving this movement pattern is a series of lateral hops. Here we see the athlete, at first she struggles to move her center of gravity to directly over the braking leg and stumbles when trying to decelerate and stabilize, especially on the left, her non-dominant side. But with some practice, she now understands how to land over her base of support. Looking at the lateral shuffle exercise again, we can see some improvement in the time the athlete takes to change direction. Now we will look at athlete 2, Tay. Tay is a netball athlete who also does some Olympic weightlifting. Here we can see her conducting the lateral shuffle exercise. It's clear that she understands how to execute the skill of the movement, but is favouring the right leg when shuffling in both the left and right directions. As we slow down the movement, we can see her driving off the right leg and dragging the left along, and even using the right leg to brake when stopping in the left direction. The athlete said she could feel this favouring of the right side and disclosed that she has had recent sprains in both ankles. She is undergoing rehabilitation work with a physiotherapist, however the left ankle is not progressing at the same rate as the right. The majority of her strength training work is bilateral, focusing on the Olympic lifts and their accessories. She has not done a significant amount of single leg strength work. With this in mind, I program unilateral knee dominant exercises, including Bulgarian split squats, working on concentric strength, but also including a slow tempo descent and holds at the bottom to work on eccentric and isometric strength to aid deceleration. In addition to lateral split squats and unilateral hip dominant exercises, including eccentric hamstring curls, and single leg Romanian deadlifts. I also program single leg plyometric progressions, starting with hops emphasizing braking in the landing phase, before moving on to rebounding exercises, as well as the lateral hops program for the previous athlete. Thank you for watching.